All right. Hello and good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Truth Behind the Truth. Yes, indeed. I'm so glad to see you guys. So glad to see everyone tonight. It's a little somber night, but yet, we'll find jubilation. I'm gonna create a word before the evening is over with. But losses are among us. I mean, at the end of the day, we're going to talk about Tony Bennett in just a minute. I'm going to check in with everybody, checking with the fellas, of course, welcoming our audience in tonight on all of your social media platforms. So taking the opportunity, thank you for taking the opportunity to share with us on our normal Sunday night program. Sunday night, Lord, y'all know I'm not here. Sunday night, okay? Saturday night program, whatever your specific time zones that you're in. I want to remind you to support us, please, on our social media platforms, yes, and also by your donations, okay? You can support us on Cash App, all right? TTBT Show on Cash App and all the Truth Behind the Truth on Venmo, okay? That's TTBT show, okay, on Cash App, and Venmo is the Truth.
It's down there, right down there. That's right.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Parnell, how you doing, brother?
Hot.
I know, right?
It's hot and muggy, but I'm good.
Good. Yeah, it's hot in LA. Yes. But one thing is so fortunate about us, because I know you're in the city as well, and you're a little bit closer to the beach than we are, but so we don't get a whole lot of that heat like they do in the valley. Oh my God, I could not be in the valley right now. 110. 110. Palm Springs, our famous relaxation place for Truth Behind the Truth, Palm Springs. Yeah. It is 119 today.
Ooh, that's hell. That's hell.
It sure is. Okay. I'll tell the story after we check in with you, Harold, because when we were in Vegas, that hill we went to. But go ahead, Harold, how you doing?
I'm good.
Good. Love you like new microphone there. You're like, hey, it's like that. Look good.
Well, somebody made a donation to me.
Oh, hey, well, you know
what? He got 100,000 followers on YouTube now, so he got to look professional when he comes on camera.
It's that moving up in the world, that is for sure. Yeah, I remember when we were in Vegas. Oh my God, was it 2 years ago? Yeah, 2 years ago we were in Vegas, right in August, and we went to our family wanted to go to Hoover Dam. Okay. I'll be damned if we went to that dam. Okay. That damn was hot. Okay, it was 118 plus down in that dam. I mean, my eyelashes were singeing. Okay, it was that hot. I ain't never been around something that hot in my life. That's way too hot.
Okay.
Like you
said, I gotta take some of the shine up off my head here. Sorry, y'all.
Okay.
Makeup.
Yeah, makeup. But anyway, yeah. So it is hot here in LA. It's hot across the country, actually. In every spot. How is it in Charlotte?
It's hot. I think it was about 90 something degrees today.
Okay, but then you guys got humidity too. So, But anyway, let's go ahead and dig in. So I'm glad to see everybody tonight. We are in for a great show, of course. It is News Buzz with the fellas tonight. So, hey, get you some popcorn, get you a little beverage of your choice or whatever. Sit back and let us gossip. We don't really gossip. We just tell you the truth behind the truth. At the end of the day.
No, we don't gossip at all.
No, absolutely. No, not at all. We just tell the truth behind the truth. That's it. Now, what you
sometimes we do spill the tea, and sometimes
exactly.
Pure shade.
Pure shade, in the room.
Wait, I put my drink in a glass.
I'm sorry. Yeah, there's the shade room out there somewhere, but we offer the real shade. So there you go. But anyway, let's go ahead and dig in real fast. And I have my dear here, the wonderful historian of our group.
Well, I mean, let's ask the question. Y'all know Tony Bennett has passed.
Right.
I mean, did y'all know any Tony Bennett hits?
Okay.
I mean, did y'all, listen to him? Or
I did.
You did?
Yeah.
I left my heart in San Francisco.
Yes. Yes. I think one of the things that, spiked his career once again to an audience that really was not familiar with his longevity in music was when he teamed up with Lady Gaga. My gosh, those two albums were phenomenal. Phenomenal. I mean, and it was nice to see her, show the world that she was more than just a meat lady. Okay, you
I
know,
can't
the
believe
meat
the
dress.
meat lady.
You know,
Just the crazy lady who represented pop art.
exactly.
Yeah,
Pop art, you
pop
know.
art. Yeah, yeah. I
So
remember those days.
yeah, exactly. So, but she's an accomplished musician from Juilliard. So, you know, I mean, you can expect that, you know, and a lot of these artists are. You'd be surprised that, you know, what their training are. And one I particularly don't care for, but Nicki Minaj is also a trained musician from Juilliard. Oh my God, I wish she would go back to Juilliard. Anyway, so let's move on. So talk about some of the history about Tony real quick.
Tony, you know, Tony Bennett was one of those jazz legends and American. You know what? He was just one of those crooners that was just totally different from his contemporaries. You know Frank Sinatra, we know Nat King Cole, we know all of them, Dean Martin, but he had a certain style that just kept him separate from the rest. You know, true. And I think he credited his style to Billie Holiday, which you know, that was one of his, you know, his influences right there. You know, but you know, I think what really got me about his story was the fact that when he came back home from World War II and established his career as a singer, he established it through other black musicians, you know, because he teamed up with Duke Ellington and all those people. But what he realized in those partnerships were the racism that was going on in the country at that time. And I think what really bothered him about that situation was the fact that he saw the second class citizenships of the greatest musicians that this country has ever produced. You know, you think about it. You going into a concert hall and he was about the only white person in the group that could go in and walk into the front door, while Count Basie and them had to walk in from the back. Count Basie was considered one of the greatest, had one of the greatest bands in these United States during the 40s, 50s, and 60s.
True.
But, you know, I think, like I said, what interested me about Tony Bennett was his inclusion to everybody. He loved everybody. And he went down to the march on Montgomery, Selma to Montgomery March for the Voting Rights Act of 1965. And you know, he talked about how afraid he was doing that. He said it reminded him of walking into Germany,
right,
and how scared he was, and he talked about what really got him through that moment was Harry Belafonte. What really got him through that moment was Harry Belafonte. But you know what really got me? The person who got him to that airport after that march was the woman that got killed. The maid from Detroit.
Oh wow!
That what got me.
Wow!
I was like, oh my gosh. Wow. So you know, I just think, you know, I always feel like with musicians, there has to be a human component to the art. If there's no human component, there is no integrity. And I think Tony Bennett his whole career was about the human connection. Because he did sing to you, like, you know, not like he was the performer, like he was the regular person, like he was the regular guy. And I think that what really, I think more black people connected to Tony Bennett than Frank Sinatra. I think we connected to him more than Frank Sinatra a little bit. I really do. I even heard Whitney Houston say in a UK interview, they had asked her who did she listen to? Was it Frank or was it Tony? She said, Tony. She said, well, she said, you don't listen to Frank? She's like, no, I don't listen to Tony. I wasn't raised. I mean, I don't listen to Frank. I was raised on Tony. So, you know, I think we had a connection. We had a connection with him. But what really galvanized his career was that MTV Unplugged of 1994. Wow. That what really got him back to the youth, because he went through a career drought in the 70s. So you know, again, thank God for Lady Gaga and the team and those albums that he teamed up with a lot of young musicians. You know, so I would say from Judy Garland to Lady Gaga, Garland to Gaga. But it's just the fact that, you know, Garland was his friend. But it saddened me. But, you know, 96 years old, he lived a full life. Yes. That is a blessing. Yeah, that is really, an absolute blessing. It really is. So hats off to Tony Bennett. Yeah, it is. Yes. So kudos, I mean, to his accomplishment, you know, again. And I love the fact that when we can find artists that was a champion for the civil rights movement.
you know, in their way. I mean, there's a lot of A-listers during the early before the 60s typically that helped support, you know, the civil rights movement, saw the injustice that was going on in society and put their voice and their money behind it, you know, in a lot of ways. And Dr. Martin Luther King marched with a lot of great people, you know. I hope that our youth will begin to reach back and not lose that opportunity, that vision of that dream, because the dream that he spoke of is the dream that we're seeing now. But unfortunately, the portions of the dream has gone in another direction, you know. And I think that we that understand the aspect of the dream needs to bring it back full circle and teach the younger generation about that particular dream and how to move forward, and that let them know that you are somebody in society. Okay, and you don't have. Well, anyway, I won't go all that way with all the other stuff, but you know, you are somebody in society. Harold, did you want to say something about it?
I was like, okay, Jesse Jackson, you are somebody.
Okay. All right, let's go on and move to a little traumatic situation here that, you know, kind of became newsworthy, which was Miss Carrie Russell. Okay.
Carly
Russell. I'm sorry.
Carly Russell.
Yeah, Carly Russell.
Who that?
Yeah, I know, right? You know, I mean, within 72 hours, you have become, I mean, the biggest news media. I don't know, pinata. I'll put it that way. Right. They hit you all kind of way. You become a pinata for that. So they try to see what's gonna fall out of you next. All right. At the end of the day, I can't. You know, I mean, I'm trying to put a good spin on a tragic situation here. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, because it's embarrassing. I mean, we don't know the full story, so these are all allegedlys that I'm saying. But it is embarrassing, you know, for this. But on the upside, they're trying to say that, you know, there's been so many conversations on different shows about the black woman and what this is doing to the black woman, and, you know, whatever case is it becoming more believable, or is she putting the black women in a deeper position that they're not going to be believable when they go missing, or when they experience all these difficulties, unfortunately, rape and all these other things in society? Are they going to really pay attention to it now because this young lady has allegedly created a false narrative? You know?
I mean, honestly, and I'm going to interrupt. Were black women ever believed? You know, and I'm hearing this argument, and I'm gonna probably let y'all speak too, but it's just the fact that, yeah, I understand everybody's disgruntled with the fact that she called 911. Even I am a little, you know, I'm in my feelings about that too. But the fact is, the respectability politics. What gets me is the fact that for many, many years, people have died over the false narratives of certain other women.
True. And
towns were bombed and people were lynched.
Right.
I'm just saying, yeah, she was wrong as hell. But that's not act like this is a first, but because it's a black woman, right, that's not put too much water over something that is just so unnecessary. It's not that I understand that people are in their feelings, but at the end of the day, I think people are really, really, really digging, rubbing salt into the wounds of the fact that a black woman could lie to the police force. Just come on now. But go ahead, Pernell. I'm going to let you speak. Go ahead.
Well, you know, it is definitely because I am one of those people who's just like, here we are. We've been trying so hard to make sure that black women get the attention that they deserve when they go missing. And, you know, finally here we get this story that is covering this woman. Everybody's like, oh my God, you know, it was like, oh, that was a setup. She was set up. You know, they're using these children as bait to kidnap this woman. Right. Then just to find out that I don't know what was going on. To get with some other dude that she wanted to deal with or whatever. Right. And I'm just like, well, girl, if you want some extra dick, just go get it. You don't got to make up a story. Having us go simple. Okay. Just go get it. And it. I hope that people will, like they've looked at white women who have lied about being kidnapped or whatever, that we can look at them as an individual and hold that individual accountable for their lies and distortions, rather than looking at as a all black women go like, well, no, I ain't nothing happened to her. Remember that Carly Russell girl we thought she was going, and she just ended up, remember so happened, and it ended up being a lie. Because people started mentioning, it's like, well, you know, white women have done this as well, have lied about, oh, you know, when their husband found out that they slept with some black man, oh, he raped me. Nah, he ain't raped nothing.
No.
Okay.
You only saying that now because your daddy found out, or your brothers and their racist asses were trying to, you know, find a reason to justify why you would do that, as opposed to you just like Parnell, I had to hush myself. I was going to say
it. Go ahead, Harold.
I just felt so bamboozled. I was one of the ones that, and I was one of the ones that shared it on my page, and you just feel bamboozled because there are real victims out there that are missing, and to be bamboozled this way. To me, she over there with cousin Jussie Smollett. Her and they can still
Smollett.
Whatever his name is.
Uh-huh. But make no mistake, we will still be paying attention when Black women go missing in cases. Right. It's not gonna be like we ain't gonna say that until we know for sure that this happened. But when we hear about it, we will share it and make sure that there she is.
Right.
Oh yeah. And
fake hair, fake
racist folks that be trying to kidnap Black women. We still watching y'all. We still,
yeah, exactly.
We still looking. Our eyes are still open.
Right. Oh yeah. I mean, on all account. I mean, at the end of the day, and there is a lot going on in our society. I mean, there's a lot. I think here's a good thing, and then we'll move on. I think that if we can use this as you said, Parnell, and as you said, Harold, just use this as a teaching tool. And we've had so many examples of different things that have gone on that we have to use them as teaching tools and accept them for what it was, isolated down to her, her specifics. And then if use it as a tool that, hey, like you said, Parnell, if it's a relationship you ain't getting enough in, go find you somebody else. But you don't have to stand in the middle of the freeway and lie to get that extra relationship. Okay, come on. At the end of the day, so
ain't nobody that damn horny.
You did,
but I
don't know, Harold.
but you want to know what gets me is the fact that they're going after the parents too about the GoFundMe and everything else.
But they didn't know.
They didn't, and that's the thing. They did not. Okay.
We'll
be right back.
Okay, we'll pick it up after this break. Yeah. We'll be right back, guys.
Call 844-55-STARZ. It's Junk Stars, baby.
Hey, my name is Thurston, and here I have my CEO, son Langston. We specialize in junk removal, dumpster rental, and demolition. So if you need junk removed,
call Junk Stars.
You need dumpster rentals,
call Junk Stars.
All right, and we are back, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into The Truth Behind the Truth. We're just getting ready to get digging in. But we got some stuff we were talking about during the break. There's some stuff that we wanted to share with you guys. You know, fellas, I don't know if you got the Instagram that I sent you today. We'll get into that after we talk about Trump. From Rachel Madden. Did you see that post report that she did? Did you get a chance to listen to it here? I sent it on Instagram today. I know it was a quick news thing, but I thought it was really pertinent, you know, and Dylan can elaborate on it quite thoroughly because he's, you know, an advocate follower. But when we get to that point, but guys, tune in. We're going to talk about that in just a few minutes there. But again, I want to welcome you back. Also want to remind you to support us on our Cash App at TTBTT Show and on Venmo at The Truth Behind the Truth. For that, we love your support. Come on, give. We like the money that folds. We ain't gonna talk about the part of jingles. All right. But anyway, we're gonna move on. Right
one
back.
More statement.
No,
I know. One more.
Go ahead.
I want to make this last. You know, with the last topic about Carly Russell. Now I'm gonna let this one go.
Okay.
As a community, Truth Behind the Truth, let's start giving some of our Black people some grace, especially if there's mental illness in place, because we don't know what's going on with these, you know, when it boils down to the Jussie Smollett and this woman.
Right.
But like we have given some of these other people like George Zimmerman and Carolyn Bryant, people who absolutely and actually killed people, we have given them grace of
Who
life.
gave grace? We didn't give them no grace.
Right. You got no grace from me.
All right. No, partner. We know that. But we know some of we know.
And neither is Carly Russell and the other person. No grace over here. Okay.
No grace over here. All right then. But that's give some people some grace. Now they didn't kill nobody on the side of the interstate.
Right.
She just said there was a baby on the side of the interstate.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Right.
Let's move on.
Okay. All right. We gonna move on.
Let's give some people some grace.
So looking at this person that is doing his best to get back to the White House, which I seriously doubt. I'm saying about 80-85% that he ain't getting back there. All right. You know, the 15 years old that want to keep believing the hype. All right.
Lord.
I'm just saying. So the man is about to get indicted again. Yeah. I mean, for the
third time.
For the third time. Okay. Finally, for the January 6th, you know, event. Okay. That occurred. You know, the thing that they're talking about by this, you guys can make a point that if he goes into this with a denial position, that it would give him a little bit more of a way to get away with the whole opportunity, saying that he didn't know. Okay, so he's trying to come with this from the alleged position of, oh, I didn't know I was doing this, or I didn't realize that I had lost the presidency. You know, hell, how did you not realize? Thank you. How the hell did you not realize you lost the damn presidency and it's all over everybody? It's all over the world, and you didn't know you lost.
Right.
Okay. However, but see, this is the thing of a bait and switch. You see what I'm saying? You know, now I baited everybody. Now I'm gonna do a switch on you, and then legally the bait and switch may work for his behalf. See, that's a little trick that they've been working on behind the scenes. So I'm like, oh my God, you know, really, I don't know what it is, you know, and I'm going to take it off these followers, and you guys make a point of his followers. I don't really understand what it is that this group of people is seeing in this man. You know what I'm saying? I don't really see. I mean, I don't get it, because if somebody tell you they're lying to your face and they keep lying to you to your face, you better wake the hell up and believe it. You see what I mean? At the end of the day. However, I don't know what it is. I do have a point. I do have a point that what it is, but I can't get into it tonight on the show. But I kind of have a feeling where it's coming from. But anyway, go ahead. If you guys want to make a point on that, Harold, go ahead. You got it.
Well, you know, this system is so corrupt. I'm not holding my breath that he's going to ever go to jail. I'm not holding my breath. So. Right. And until he's in jail, you know, I'm so disappointed in America right now. I'm so disappointed in what's going on in Florida. I'm just, you know, I'm disappointed. So,
gotcha.
Go on there.
Yeah, like it's when we talk about, you know, the whole thing of white supremacy is not just about the whole thing of hating other ethnicities. It's about allowing white folks to get away with so much. It's like, well, yeah, we know this was illegal. We know this was blah, blah, blah. But he's white, so we're going to give him a pass. He didn't mean it. Right. You know, like how many times have we seen, you know, these white men who have sexually abused women, and the judge, oh, well, you know, he didn't mean it. I don't want to mess up his life. Right. But they don't have no problem with locking black men up in the same, like, oh, he did it. They're animals. He's a brute and blah, blah, blah. You're a danger to society, and we have to lock you up.
Right.
the white guy, I just know he's not going to do it again. He has learned his lesson, which we heard with T-Clown. He was like, oh yeah, I believe that he's learned his lesson. And then he went and did the same thing again. And like, what he learned is that you're going to let him get away with it.
Right.
And like I was saying last week with Samson, we have one side who openly advocates for white supremacy. And then on the other side, we have people who just like, well, I'm going to say I'm against white supremacy, but I'm not going to do anything too hard to really tear that system down because I still benefit from it as well.
There's a vast monetary interest involved.
Yes.
Okay. But go ahead. I mean, interrupt you. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, Parnell, you just proved my point from the last statement I made. You see how that judge just gave that white man some grace now. I'm just saying. We should start giving some of our black folks some grace, but a lot of them ain't killing them. But I'm just saying. Okay, I'm getting off of that subject. But I think this situation, Trump, you say that you don't understand why people can why are they following this man? Well, this man has their agenda to push. Right. And like Parnell said, it is racism. The fact that the state of Florida and the state of Mississippi and I hate to say it, my state of Alabama, well, I don't even want to claim, I'm so sorry, but I just don't like to claim too much of that. They're whitewashing history. And people are allowing them to do it.
In our face. They're doing it in our face.
Yeah, that's true.
But do you know how many black folks stay down south? And you can sit there. Now, I tell you, and I tell people this all the time. We can go to church. We can go to these football games. We can support the state of the University of Alabama and Auburn. Sorry for you who are fans. But you can go and support those. But you cannot get out and vote. That is just, it's an abomination. It has to be an abomination. Right. And I don't blame Trump for doing what he is doing because they are allowing him to do it because they are giving him grace.
Right.
And the fact that he can sit in your face and say, well, I did not know I lost. That's the biggest
lie.
Right.
Because the man was in the third indictment, the indictment is based on the fact that he called the state of Georgia and told them to not count the votes.
Right.
How can you sit up there and lie to the American people still?
Right.
But I can understand why, because we are so distracted in this country. We're so distracted. We're distracted by Carly Russell.
Right.
Why is she the biggest distraction? We know why.
Right.
Because she is the rabbit foot that is dangling in our face because she is a black woman. I'm getting off that subject. But that is the situation. There is a distraction that we as Americans, we fall for every time that there's a situation like this that happens. If Trump gets in, this is the situation. If he becomes president, he's going to clear himself of all this. Well, he's not campaigning for presidency. He's campaigning for his freedom now.
Right, that's true.
Because the game has changed.
Right, that's true.
And then they have also said the people who are running within the Republican Party, get this, if one of them wins, they're going to clear him too.
Right.
So the fact is that we now have conservative Supreme Court judges.
Right.
Now they want to take the House and the Senate. Yes, we're going to fall into a totalitarian government because of the fact that there is one man that's going to fall to the hem of the government. Yeah.
So and good point. I mean, I interrupted there, but this is a good point. We're going to give you guys a little, not too much of a taste, but of the Rachel Madden show where she's talking about one central government. Okay, and Republican Party is behind this fully. Okay, what they want to see is a one government system going into place that they'll have complete control. And what they're saying is that whoever, if it's not Trump, whoever that becomes the next Republican president, they've already set it up for him to be able to issue this this type of ruling into society. So here's Rachel talking about it just real quick. We won't play too long of it. We'll get right to points and go on from there. That's it ready. It'll pop up as soon as I think he has it ready. But anyway, we'll talk till he pulls it up. So yeah, it's very, very sad that this group that's in our society that is pushing through this. But it is, gosh, I don't want to, I'll save it for next week's show because there's a lot to understand why this is happening, and why it's happening in the presence of us right now. And it has a lot of spiritual implications that's a part of it. And I don't want to give credence to the certain community that has studied this, but I would have to. not for the reasons why they put it out there, but for the reasons that the truth behind the truth is remaining a part of what they've said. So, but it is very, very sad that we have a group of people that want a one government system here in America, where it has always been about freedom. It's always been about freedom of choice, freedom of religion, freedom to make your decisions, freedom to do all this type of thing. And what they're wanting to do is to take that freedom from you. And this is not black, white, Hispanic, Asian. You are a part of this country. And to your point, Parnell, even with the white supremacy or the people that follow Trump. See, the thing about it is that this man is tickling your ear. He is blowing mess in your ear, tickling your ear, okay? And at the end of the day, when it's said and done, you're not going to get anything that he promised you, because you will be just as low class as you think anyone else would be. Okay, your class level will drop real quick because you're not in the financial category of the people that he will be benefiting. Do we have the video? I don't know.
It's loading, I think. And JB, you said, and it's nice. It ain't your ear. He blowing smoke up.
Okay, right. Okay, it's your ass. He blowing smoke up, and it's tickling really good. Okay.
But when have these people ever financially been met with any? You're talking about people who. Okay, it's ready. We'll
go to the video. And we'll be right back, guys.
I'll make my point. Yes.
Story today. Big story, very important story about how the leading Republican presidential candidate, Donald Trump, and Republicans more broadly, have this plan that they want to put in place if the Republican Party wins the presidency in 2024. They're calling it Project 2025 because this is a plan that's supposed to go into effect upon the inauguration of Donald Trump in 2025. Either Trump or some other Republican president gets inaugurated in January of 2025, and Project 2025 thereby goes into effect. This plan is being coordinated by a right-wing think tank called the Heritage Foundation, and it is a plan to radically change the form of governance that we have in the United States so as to concentrate all the power of the government in the hands of a single leader. Quote, our current executive branch was conceived of by liberals. What's necessary is a complete system overhaul. Quote, what we're trying to do is identify the pockets of independence inside the U.S. government and seize them. Seize them. So there won't be any more pockets of independent power outside the power that is held by the president. Now, as I said, they want this to be Donald Trump. They want him to be the guy in whose hands all this power is concentrated. But they say they would plan to do this with any Republican president. The plan is to change the structure of the U.S. government so the next president, the next Republican president, will take direct control of all state power. He would, for example, take over all federal law enforcement and run that directly for his own benefit through the DOJ. There would be no more independence of federal law enforcement. The next president would.
All right, man. I'm going to let you guys marinate on that just for a few minutes while we go to break. All right, we'll be right back and continue our discussion. All right, and we are back, guys. Thank you so much again for tuning into the Truth Behind the Truth, the political portion. Okay, definitely. Before we continue in that discussion about that, we want to let all of us, we that are SAG members and in the industry, actors and what have you, want to let you know that we are standing with you. In regard of this strike. It's very if you. How can I say this? If you don't understand what goes on in the community of the industry, meaning movie, TV, film, and music, sit down and talk to an artist, okay? And you'll have a very clear understanding of why the strike is going on, why they're pulling back, why are the writers pulling back, because you do have people at high positions in the studios or whatever that make a lot of money. Okay, a hell of a lot of money. If you would take even a portion of their salaries, I'm gonna mention one salary in just a second, and filter it back down to the actors. Oh my God, you can make a lot of actors happy, in that particular amount. One person, I'm gonna have to say
the A-listers. You're talking about those who work certain background.
You don't even have not even necessarily that. I mean, see, A-list is a different category of acting. Okay, I mean it is. It's a really weird, and even that. Okay, I mean, I love them dearly, but some of y'all don't need to be making $20 million a film. I'm sorry. Because you're on. I know it's your name. I know that you brought that. You've established that. Whatever the case would be. But you have got your fellow compadres that are nowhere close to that particular category. And making money. I mean, Parnell and I would have loved to make $20 million. Parnell would have loved to make $20 million being on Greenleaf. Okay, I mean, at the end of the day,
$2 million would have been nice.
$2 million would have been nice. You know what I'm saying? So I think what's fair, but we're not going to get into A-listers. That's a whole other, a whole other category. I'm just talking about the actors that basically show up to set, the ones that don't get the name in the top line, but are day players, okay, or special guest stars, all these type of things. Just to let you guys know that if you're a special guest star, the only negotiated level, it starts at $5,000 for the week, and then you have a negotiation possibly to get to 7,000, but you're cut off at 7,000. Okay, but people seem to think that, oh my gosh, you're making $1 million because you're on a TV show. No, sorry. Okay, but I was going to mention too, real quick, about the president of Disney. Okay, hopefully don't. Well, maybe if you get mad, that's won't pick us up for the show. Okay, but the truth behind the truth is the truth behind the truth. This man makes $24 million to sit in an office to give direction to ABC and Disney, okay, and oversee this. Could you imagine just even a third of that going to this group of people that need the money? At the end of $24 million, that's a lot of money. I'm sorry. To sit and do what you do, okay? Because if you're part of the industry, you know what goes behind the scenes. You know what producers do. Hello, these all the producers you look at. You know what they do. You know what the meetings. You know what all those type of things that go on. So, and it's a lot of overreach in terms of money. Okay, support the writers, support the actors, support whoever needs the support in the industry as well. Okay, but anyway, back into what we were talking about, because I know I don't want to run out of time. That all stuff we got to talk about. So the Rachel Madden, make your Harold, do you have a point about Rachel Madden?
But that's just very scary, very scary. And I just think about like what's going on in Florida with them rewriting history now, saying that Black folks benefited from slavery. I think that we're going down a very dangerous, path. If we allow, a system to be established where only one person is in charge can just make decisions for this country, that's very, very scary to me.
Absolutely. No checks and balances. Go ahead here.
Yeah, I mean that totally flies against what the founding fathers were setting up. They had come from country or countries where there was just one person who ruled over everything, and what the king said went. No ifs, ands, or buts. You couldn't challenge the king without fear of being put to death. So that, which gives us a whole what freedom of speech is all about. Freedom of speech don't mean you can say any damn thing you want to. You can criticize the government without fear of being put to death. That's all it is.
That's all it was, and that's all it's supposed to be.
All it is. But with this whole thing of them trying to instill this is again all tied into also with the whole thing with the abortion bans.
Yes.
It's once that study came out, like 2016, that the death rate of white people was going faster than the birth rate of white folks. They started panicking. Oh my God, we're losing our majority in this country. What's going to happen if white people aren't the majority? Like life will go on. That's what happened. And it's like, it's not anything that white people are going to disappear from the country. It's just like other people are just like, hey, because actually birth rates all around are lower. You know, around Black people, I think Latinos are going up a little higher, but that all this stuff is really all about trying to maintain white power structure. That's what all this stuff really comes down to, is how do we keep that going? And I want to say one thing with the SAG thing, because I don't forget that.
Right, sure.
Because I saw a post that was saying if like the top 8 highest grossing producers were to take 2% each off of their salary, that would pay for everything that SAG-AFTRA and the Writers Guild are asking for. Right? And that's $1 billion. Like 2% of that, like $20 million. $20 million spread out over all of those day players and those bit parts and stuff, like you said. We're not talking about the big A, B, and even C-list stars.
Right.
Just those of us who are struggling to try to make that qualifying $26,000 a year to get insurance.
Right.
Just that 2% from all those salaries will cover us, and we'd be good. I said, y'all are not going to miss 2% out of $24 million.
Right.
You're not going to miss that.
Right. Exactly. True. Go ahead with your point on.
With that Rachel Maddow video, I'm not surprised by what they're doing, but I had to be honest with you. When he said back in 2018 that he approved of the Chinese president, saying that he thought it was a great idea to take away the 2-year tenure of that president and make his career lifelong leader, and he said, "Well, that's a good idea over here." He said that at a Fox News event that it would be a great idea for me to be a lifelong leader. I was thrown off by the fact that nobody caught that. Or nobody cared to even mainstream.
Right. Yeah, no,
mainstream
of course
didn't care too much about it. It was just always about something else.
Right.
But I think the only solution to this situation is more public education needs to be teaching more about civics.
Right.
That's it. But that's a done deal, because to be honest with you, that's why they're taking away money from the educational department. That's why Republicans, and you have DeSantis saying that he will rip away all of that. Forget about it.
Right.
But going back to the strike, for those who just think it's a Hollywood thing, I think you need to get up and really wash your eyes, and really, really wash your eyes, because I think this needs to pertain to your industry as well. Because I'm going to say, as somebody who works in retail and works in a store, my store and the people that I represent made billions of dollars during the pandemic.
Right.
And the fact that you have people who are still struggling to survive, you have those who work in the building who are struggling to work because of the fact of the situations that come in.
Right.
And I'm just saying, y'all don't. It's not only a Hollywood situation; it's an American situation right now, and it's being exposed for what it is. Not only Hollywood is striking, but UPS is striking too. I think honestly, people need to wake up to the fact that you have to respect people's industries.
Yes.
Respect our artists, respect our blue collar workers.
Yes.
To be exact.
Right.
Because I'm just saying, and you white collar workers, you better wake up, because AI is taking your positions. So if I were you, I would get up and start thinking about what's going to happen if automation and AI really fulfills its course, because your jobs are going to be snatched away. I'm just saying.
And then the Terminator is going to come and get us, and it's going to be. I've seen the movies. It happens.
It happens.
Got cut all great, or then you have Megan doing her dance and then start cutting people up.
Right. Exactly.
Can we have a little bit of good news? Can we have a little bit of good news?
We got one more. Then we're gonna get into the big news. The big.
Look, I'm getting depressed. I need to drink tea and strong enough. It's depressing me. I'm like, we get ready to be under a dictatorship. They're gonna reinstitute slavery. We're all in trouble.
I know. We do got to mention one thing, which is really important. Okay, and then we'll move on from there. It's dealing with Abba Dabba Abbott down in Texas. Okay,
oh Lord,
because what here's Abba Dabba Abbott. Okay, because what he's doing to those migrants, it's just cruel. Okay, it's insane and it's cruel. Okay, at the end of the day, I know you wanted to a little bit, but we got to mention it, Harold. We got to mention it. Okay, and we got to send great peace out to those people that are trying to get to be a part of this country, and the things that he has done, pushing people back or allowing them to push people out to drown in the water, and putting razor wire in the water so that they would be their bodies will be destroyed trying to get across. So what goes around, Abba Dabba Dabbit comes around. Okay, so you in a wheelchair for a reason. Okay, and Okay, you in a wheelchair for a reason. All right. Now, if you're gonna be, you are in a wheelchair for a reason. You think about that, buddy. When you got razor wire out there for people to get cut up, and you drown a baby.
Put a curse on this man.
No, he already in a wheelchair. Okay, at the end of the day, so you got to think about maybe you bitter. I don't know. Okay, but the rest of the world want to know why you're doing stuff like that. You know, I mean, at the end of the day. But anyway, we're gonna move on.
Y'all send that mail to JB. Straight to JB.
Hey, you can say you heard it right here on The Truth Behind the Truth. Okay,
courtesy of JB.
But anyway, thank you for that, Errol. Okay. Let's move on to something a little bit more exciting. Go ahead.
Here's the good news. Jamie Foxx has reset.
That's
yes.
Alive and well. Alive and well.
Nice to see him back up and going. But I want to think my hypothesis with him was I think he'd been overworking himself and overextending himself. With all of these movies and jobs that he had signed himself on to, I think what really got him was the fact that what caught up with him was the fact that I don't think he really took out time to rest.
So
I think that might have been what really flared up his health situation, because when you work those, now we're talking about strikes and all, but as actors of his caliber, when you take on so many positions and so many jobs, that can inflame some part of your health. And I'm thinking, to be honest with you, that could have been the reason. What do y'all think? I mean,
well, we lived in strange times because people were really running this narrative that it was a clone. I'm like, this is. I tell you, your cousins can be really,
they can be
the stuff that we believe. I'm like, they thinking that this man is, that there was a clone that was created of him. That's just your cousins.
It was Jamie Foxx's AI.
Right.
I was about to say that. AI. AI.
And now the real Jamie Foxx, he needed a vacation. And so he had his AI in place, and then the AI malfunctioned, but Jamie wasn't ready to come back for vacation. So they made up this story that he was hospitalized until he felt that he was refreshed. And now the real Jamie Foxx is back. That's what happened.
That's it.
we gonna go with that one, all right?
He looks good on steroids.
On steroids. Oh my God.
I'm being funny.
Anyway, we'll be right back with more after this break. We'll see you in a second.
I want an AI.
All right, and we are back, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into The Truth Behind the Truth tonight. I'm really hoping that it's a lot of information coming at you tonight, really. But do want to remind you to support, share, like on all of our platforms. To hit those buttons, take it over when we're live. You can share afterwards. Remember our rebroadcast on Wednesdays. It is a rebroadcast. If you didn't get the full show and you don't know how to go back and get it, we're coming back to you live again on Wednesdays, okay? And share that show as well. Want to remind you to support us, please. Okay. Please remind and support us. Cash App, all right. Cash App, all right. We're on Cash App. TTBTT Show on Cash App and on Venmo, The Truth Behind the Truth. Please, we would love that because we want things to grow. We want to get deeper, want to get more and more. Talk about the stuff that y'all heard about tonight. All right. Anyway, let's move on a little bit further. We were going to...
Parnell had a good news story.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, Parnell.
About Romeo Miller. I don't know if you guys saw that.
He's partnered up with, and from what I understand, is not the only Black person to have done an electric vehicle. So there's other folks besides Tesla in the game with giving us. And I gotta find the story. See, Harold, you caught me unaware.
It's Romeo Miller. So he owns an electric company with former Tesla engineer, with the former guy.
Former Tesla. Okay.
Is it Tesla?
Tesla.
And the company is worth $10 billion.
Wow, already.
Treon is the name of the company.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I was seeing stories that folks was like, so he's just one of, I guess there are a couple others because there's some brothers, or I shouldn't say brothers, I don't know if it might be women. There are companies in Africa that are also doing similar technology but aren't getting the press. So like, I really want to find out. I got to look at the story because people were naming some of the other companies that were out there. But it's good for folks to know, like, listen.
Right.
We talk about Black-owned business. There they go.
Yeah.
We talk about Black-owned
business. When that comes out, I ain't getting a Tesla. I'm going to give me a Treon.
Right. A Treon.
Okay. So okay, little wrong. Okay, advertising. So you heard first here on Truth Behind Truth. Advertising. Okay. Advertising. Treon and the Truth Behind Truth. Okay, I'm just saying.
Good. For those who don't want to just give Cash App or Venmo, you can advertise on the show, so you get something for your dollars. We're gonna be setting that up now.
Put that $1 million out now. Absolutely.
Her performance of her national anthem that she has rewritten has been circulating on YouTube and a lot of places within the Black sphere of social media. But after one performance, she asked everybody to get their visas. So with this information that we have now received, is it possible that now Black people are now going out of the United States to make connections with our African brothers and sisters to get these balls rolling? And do visas really matter? Because and they do matter. Yeah, they do matter, and they should matter. I think we're getting ours.
Right.
But the fact is that I think Truth Behind the Truth, I want to tell everybody, please, if you don't get one at least.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying. I'm gonna let like he just said. Like he just saying. Get your plan of escape ready.
Right.
Visa, passport, blood sample, birth certificate, whatever.
Because somebody told that years ago. It's like, we should all have our passport in case some shit goes down and we need to get up out of here.
Right. That's real.
It's real. It is so real. So, and if things happen, I mean, or move in the direction that Rachel Maddow, and that was not fictitious that Rachel Maddow was talking about. So, I mean, really, that's something to take to heart. But here's the key factor about that also. When you have the power in your hands right now to vote, okay, if you guys are not realizing at this point the reason to vote, I'm sorry, what's wrong? Really, your vote,
whatever state you are, get out.
Absolutely. It is, because if you see this injustice that is being spoken out clearly coming to you, and you're refusing to do something about it, in the power which you have right now is in your vote. Talking in your community, having conversations like this with people in your community, on your job, okay? Talk to people that look like you, people that don't look like you, because at the end of the day, everybody got to come together and vote to stop that stuff that's going to happen from happening to everybody.
You don't vote, you have just thrown away your citizenship if you don't vote.
Well, now that's good.
I believe wholeheartedly in that. If you don't vote, you cannot call yourself a full citizen of this country.
Yes,
no say in what's going on in your community or what's going on in your country.
Right.
I think every American should get out there and make their voices heard.
Yes.
Regardless of party affiliation or what you believe. I think honestly, if you're not out there doing your due diligence, you cannot call yourself a full citizen.
And I'm gonna drop this nugget real quick, and we can wrap it up with a couple of points. If you vote as much as you run to church and pray, If you vote,
everybody
as much as you run to church and pray, maybe your prayer will get answered. Okay, so I'm gonna move on.
See, that's what I always say for all those folks who like, it don't matter, our vote don't matter because they're gonna do what they want to do anyway. If that's the truth, why do you think there is, I've said it 1,000 times, why do you think there's always so much effort to stop you from voting? Why do you think that the Republicans are always trying to redraw districts to break up Democratic votes, to break up Black voting blocks? Because we've seen in time where there were districts that should have been going to a Democratic candidate, not going because they redrew the districts.
Absolutely.
And I hear the music, Charles. I'm gonna shut up.
Harold, you got a quick word you want to share about tonight?
You hear the music, JB. He got to shut up.
I hear the music. I guess you don't hear the music. I hear the music.
Well, anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to the Truth Behind the Truth tonight. We do hope and sincerely that you have taken the nuggets tonight that we have dropped upon you. Okay, the truth behind the truth, and allow it, find your truth in all of this, and make it happen for yourself. Okay, vote, love people, do what you got to do, put the right and wrong people out of office. Okay, and let's keep it moving. All right, guys, we will see you next week right here once again on the Truth Behind the Truth. Have a powerful night.
It's gonna be it.